Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Here's my top 10 favorite Johnny Depp movies. Yes, Johnny Depp graced us with his performance of last week's movie, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Yeah, that movie was terrible, but I thought I'd count down my top 10 favorite Johnny Depp movies because the guy, he may have been doing some crappy movies lately, but he's a good actor and he's done a lot of great movies, and I thought I'd celebrate those great movies by giving my top 10 personal favorite Johnny Depp movies. Alright, let's get started, and before a top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. And my honorable mentions for my favorite Johnny Depp movies are Black Mask, Chocolat, Public Enemies, Blow, Cry Baby, Benny and June, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All good movies, just couldn't make the top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. Corpse Bride is one of the many movies that stars Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. It also has Christopher Lee and stuff. This movie is a very good movie. It's a great stop-motion animated movie about a guy who has to do an arranged marriage, but he doesn't want to get married. But when he meets the girl, he does want to get married, but he can't forget. But he keeps forgetting his vows, so he practices vows in the forest one day, and he accidentally marries a corpse. And yeah, he goes to the underworld, and he's trying to figure out how to help the corpse, but also get back to his wife and stuff. This is a very good movie. I wish it was longer, though. I think they could have went to more depths about the characters, especially the character Emily, played by Helena Bonham Carter. She is the more interesting and fascinating character, and they do a very clever backstory about her through a musical number. It's a very catchy musical number, and it's such an interesting story, this movie, and it's only an hour and 17 minutes. It's a very short movie, kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas, but the short length for Nightmare Before Christmas worked. I think this movie could have been a lot longer, could have had a little more musical numbers, but I really like this movie. I like the story and the characters and the stop-motion animation designs. The musical was great, the style was great, the direction was great. I just wanted more from this movie. If this movie was like half hour longer and it fleshed the characters out more, you know, give us more of Lord Barkis and Mayhew and Victor and Emily and even the bride Victoria, if they just fleshed the characters out a little more, it would have been a much more interesting and a little bit more of a compelling movie. But for what we got, I think it's a great movie, and it's my 10th favorite Johnny Depp movie. Coming number 9 is Sleepy Hollow. Yes, another Tim Burton Johnny Depp movie. He did a lot of great Tim Burton movies. He did some bad ones like Alice in Wonderland and Dark Shadows, but he did some great ones. And this is a great one. This is just a great, fun, campy horror thriller. I love the book of Sleepy Hollow. I am not a fan of the show, and I loved the animated Disney movie, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. That is such an awesome Disney movie. I love it. This is a great movie. I thought Tim Burton's direction was the perfect direction. He was the perfect director to direct a story like this because it's a very silly, campy story, and that's Tim Burton's style. Silly, gothic, and campy, and this just worked. Johnny Depp was great. Christina Ricci was great. Everyone was great. Even Michael Gavin was great. Miranda Richardson. Christopher Lee's very small performance. Everyone was great. I love the style of it. I love how gory and over-the-top gory this is. I love Christopher Walken. He doesn't do anything as the Headless Horseman. He just does, that's his performance, but he just does it great. I love Johnny Depp in particular as Ichabod Crane. He's a more likable character in this movie because in the book and even in the animated movie, he's kind of a dick. But they made him more goofy and silly and just more likable, and I thought Johnny Depp did a good job, and I like this movie. It's a really fun movie, and it's my 9th favorite Johnny Depp movie. Coming number 8 is What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Yes, I fully admit, Leo steals this movie. Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated, and he should have been. He's amazing in this movie. So good. Johnny Depp is still good. I love his character. He comes off a bit unlikable at times, but you understand why. He has a very rough life. He has a very complex family. That's an understatement. It's just an interesting. I love the family. I love this story. I love these characters. And Johnny Depp is really good. Yes, Leo outstages him, but this is just a really good, dramatic, coming-of-age movie, and I really like it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Johnny Depp's great, and I really love this movie. It's my 8th favorite Johnny Depp movie. Coming number 7 is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Yes. Yes, I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, as for the sequels, I actually like Dead Man's Chest. I actually am a fan of it. I like it. As for At World's End, it was okay. Like, it dragged. It was a little over long. On Stranger Tides is a piece of shit, but Out of Gore Verbinski's filmography, this is the only like genuinely great one. But I like the second one. I have fun with it. I hate Rango and Lone Ranger, they'll suck, but Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl is such a fun movie. This is definitely one of my favorite live-action Disney movies. This is the role that made Johnny Depp iconic. Like, this is the reason why he does, like, goofy, silly roles now. It is because of Jack Sparrow. As much as I love Jack Sparrow as a character, I'm getting sick of Johnny Depp's, like, silly performances, but he's amazing in this movie. He's so good. He was nominated for an Oscar, totally well deserved. He was so great. Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, Jonathan Pryce, also Jeffrey Rush as Captain Barbossa. They're all so good in this movie. I love it. I love the characters. I love the swashbuckling action adventure story. I love the mythology that they dive into about the 882 pieces of Cortez Aztec gold. We're a cursed men, Miss Turner. You better stop believing in ghost stories. You're in one. Back to work. I love Barbossa is such a great character, and I love Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow, but you have heard of me. When I was at a Thracian, so I forget the name. I love Johnny Depp. He made this role of his own, and when I first saw this movie, it didn't even look like Johnny Depp with the makeup and the hair and the costumes. It looked great. The production, costumes, score, its action, the performances, the direction, everything about Parts of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl just works, and it's my 7th favorite Johnny Depp movie. Coming number 6 is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Yes, another Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Hello Bonham Carter movie. I love this movie. This is another movie he was nominated for an Oscar. He probably should have won it. He was amazing in this movie. Him, Hello Bonham Carter, Timothy Squall, Sacha Baron Cohen. Everyone's so good. I love Alan Rickman as Judge Turpin. He was so good. His singing, but he was still really good. Johnny Depp is so good as this villain, and I love that there's like no protagonist. Well, he's the protagonist, but there's not really a good guy except the young boy who's in love with Joanna. What's his name again? I forget his name. Anthony, I think. Yeah, he's the only good one. But this movie is villain against villain. Johnny Depp's a villain, and Judge Turpin, Alan Rickman, is also a villain, and Helena Bonham Carter's a villain. She cooks people in the pies. I love this movie. I love how Tim Burton directed the movie. I love the Broadway show, but I love this movie. It's so good. It's so dark and gothic, and everyone's so good. The musical numbers are amazing. As you saw this in my favorite Tim Burton movies, my favorite movie musicals. I just love Sweeney Todd. It's amazing. It's my 6th favorite Johnny Depp movie. Coming number 5 is Finding Neverland. Yes, the story of Peter Pan, or how Peter Pan was created. As Johnny Depp plays a person who writes plays, and he writes the story of Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. This is a great movie. I love Kate Winslet and Dustin Hoffman, but Johnny Depp is this show stealer. Again, the 3rd movie in a row, yes, nominated for an Oscar. He was great. This is just a great movie about a character study, about a man befriending this girl and her children and building a relationship with his family. It's a very loving and very enchanting and very riveting and heartwarming movie. Freddie Highmore is also in it. He's good as the young kid. This movie's just great. It's such an interesting concept about how the story of Peter Pan was created. It's an interesting movie. It's a great dramatic movie with some great heartwarming themes, but also some really sad moments. And I love this movie. It's amazing. Coming number 4 is Donnie Brasco. Yes, Al Pacino and Johnny Depp. I love this movie. I love Johnny Depp as Donnie Brasco, and I love Al Pacino as Lefty. He's so great. Michael Madsen's also great in this movie too. This is just a great, interesting crime, dramatic thriller. It's a mob movie. I love mob movies, and Johnny Depp did an amazing job in a mob movie. He was great in Public Enemies, but this is the mob movie everyone knows him from. It's so good. Mike Newell's direction was fantastic, and all these characters were interesting characters played by amazing actors. I love Donnie Brasco. Coming number 3 is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, the movie that gave us Johnny Depp for the first time. And yeah, the first time we saw Johnny Depp, he was a teenager in a horror movie getting sucked up into a bed and blood everywhere. I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. It's no Exorcist, Halloween, or The Thing, but it's up there. It's such a great movie. Wes Craven did an amazing job. Robert Englund is fantastic and iconic as Freddy Krueger himself. I love this movie. This is an amazing horror movie, and it still holds up to this day after it came out in the early 1980s. And Johnny Depp is really good. He's a very cool, interesting character. I like seeing him in this movie. I just like seeing a very young Johnny Depp. Depp, and I do enjoy seeing him get sucked into that bed. That's pretty funny. And yeah, of course I'd have this movie. It's one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Coming number 2 is Edward Scissorhands. Yes. Edward Scissorhands. I love this movie. This is one of the greatest Tim Burton movies, and Johnny Depp is so good in this movie. I love it. He's such a likable and complex and fleshed out character. I love this movie about a man who was created by another man played by Vincent Price. I love this movie. It's so good. Winona Ryder is also very good in this movie. So is Diane Wiest. Everyone is so great in this movie. Anthony Michael Hall, he's good in it too. I love the romance between Edward Scissorhands and Winona Ryder's character. I love how interesting the story is. I love how original and fresh it is. I love the bizarre production design in this movie. It just works. It's an interesting story with interesting writing, interesting characters. It's just an interesting concept and premise. I love this movie. I can't get sick of this movie. I've been watching this movie ever since I've been a kid. I loved it then, and I love it even more now, and it's my second favorite Johnny Depp movie. And my number 1 favorite Johnny Depp movie is, if you all know me, you all know what it is, and that is Ed Wood. Ed Wood is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my favorite Tim Burton movie. It's my favorite movie about filmmaking. I love this movie. Ed Wood stars Johnny Depp, Martin Landau, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bill Murray, Jeffrey Jones. And the cast in this movie is all solid. And I love Johnny Depp in this movie as Edward D. Wood Jr. Patricia Arquette's also in it too. Yeah, Johnny Depp is such a great, interesting, likable character. He's the worst director of all time. He's a filmmaker who cares about the creative process. He loves filmmaking. He wants to create art. Too bad his art sucks. And it's such a sympathetic character because he wants to be talented, but he can't because he isn't talented. He's such an interesting, quirky, funny character, and I love Johnny Depp in this movie. I love everyone. I love Bill Murray, Sarah Jessica Parker, Patricia Arquette, Jeffrey Jones. They're all great. Martin Landau is amazing, though, as Bela Lugosi. Karloff. Fuck you. I love it. Let's do this, fucker. I love Bela Lugosi in this movie. It was such a very realistic portrayal of Bela Lugosi. Martin Landau was amazing. He totally deserved the Oscar win for his role in this movie. He's amazing. The makeup, the costume, the editing, all fantastic. Tim Burton's direction was perfection. I love Johnny Depp in this movie. It's my favorite Tim Burton movie, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of my favorite movies about filmmaking, and of course, it is my number 1 favorite Johnny Depp movie. So yeah, that was my top 10 personal favorite Johnny Depp movies. So in the comment section below, please tell me, what are your top 10 favorite Johnny Depp movies? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.